Hi, Luciana, Daphne here. Thank you for sending in your essays. Many apologies for the delay getting this back to you. And your arts has been cancelled again, you said. How annoying. It is so frustrating, isn't it? I've got a couple of students taking the IELTS indicator test tomorrow. That is just for academic purposes, though, not for immigration. So that's not your thing. But it's so annoying. But hey, good attitude to use the time for more practice. Well done. Okay, so nowadays, this is such a horrible essay. Really hard, this one. I think it's one of the hardest. Some argue democracy is under its biggest threat since inception. Some argue due to capital markets, the electorate's lost control. What do you think? So there's a lot going on in that question, isn't there? So concerns have been growing for the past several years about the future of democracy. As dissatisfaction increases, some suggest that given the influence of global markets, politics may rule purely according to economic interests, regardless of the population's needs, which would ultimately damage the whole system. In my viewpoint, this is a justifiable concern, and I will support it in the following essay. Whoa! Super high level, band 9. What are you doing? This is amazing. Wow. Um, some people, the only thing you could say is some commentators or some voters, maybe, some journalists, maybe. I think you can do better than people. People is a bit boring. I think I prefer commentators. Otherwise, absolutely fabulous. According to recent data, more than 57% of the world's population is under democratic governances, a figure that's likely to be understood as a reflection of this model's success. Conversely, those who advocate that democracy may be failing justify this. So I would say this, it's like this concept rather than it as a thing. Justify this with a concept that originally, it was created to grant ordinary people the power to be masters of their fates, which is nowadays not a reality in many countries. Excellent. Very, very good. Okay? Those who advocate that democracy may be failing justify this with the concept or argument maybe that originally, I would maybe go with the argument that originally this concept was created. So you could get concept, which is a lovely word. You get that in there. To grant ordinary people. Yeah, great. Despite, now, I don't think you need to have peoples and citizens. So I would say, despite their votes, so what you're going to do is reference forward to citizens, which is quite clever on coherence. Despite their votes, having an elected authority does not guarantee that citizens, so if you see what we're doing here in the referencing, which is all to do with the coherence, you're referencing forward, so there belongs to citizens. Agrees, citizens, an apostrophe there, I think. Opinions will be taken into account in important decisions, being the amount of money, given the amount of money invested in matters such as education. Hang on, I'm lost. Citizens' opinions will be taken into account in important decisions, given the amount of money invested in matters such as education. You'd need to have which is an excellent example. Your sentence is getting so complicated, you need to take it into another phrase. Otherwise, it's just getting too lost. If people are frequently put aside after the electoral process, democracy is losing its core characteristics, maybe dismantled. Rather than put aside, I would be ignored. Just simply ignored. Put aside, I don't like it so much, and it's a phrasal verb, and I think it's better to have just a straight, slightly better. That is fabulous. Wow, you should be a journalist. It's amazing. Additionally, high on the list of possible causes for many politics increasingly neglect to consider civilian demands. Hang on. High on the list of possible causes for. Do you mean politics or politicians, the people? Not sure quite what you mean there. I'm going to put it in red. You can tell me. For many politicians, increasingly neglecting, it has to be an ing to consider civilian demands, are the ones exerted by the global markets. Do you mean politics or maybe pressures? Or political pressures? It could be. Not quite sure on that. I'm not quite sure on that sentence. But here you're okay, are the ones exerted by global markets. For the power has migrated from the political to the economic sphere. By being under the control of big corporations, some governments cannot freely decide on measures that would improve citizens' welfare unless it pleases the markets. Okay, so decide on would have to be. So we decide on something. You vote for what you decide on. By being under the control of, I would say powerful, just a better word, corporations, some governments can no longer, I would go, cannot is okay, but can no longer, might just suggest the idea that they could before, but now they can't. Can no longer freely decide measures that would improve citizens' welfare, so I can breathe, unless it pleases the markets. For instance, during COVID in Brazil, authorities, under non-political pressures, were compelled to open the economy prematurely, although the well-established statements and recommendations of health organizations said to postpone it. Need another verb, said to postpone it. Yes, I've been following this in the news a lot, and what a very frightening situation. Really, really terrifying for you. Okay, so you need a verb here, said to postpone it. As a result, modern democracy may not only prevent people from participating actively, but also could now. Not only, we need to watch this, not only prevent is absolutely right. So not only prevent people from participating actively, but also you need to have a verb in here so that jeopardize their future. Okay, so but also verb. So there's like an inversion here. So not only verb, but also verb, their future, and then this would go due to the financial institutions' impositions into a nation. Wow. Impositions into good. Imposition on. Into is okay. I think actually onto. We impose something on somebody, onto a nation. Okay. Conclusion. I'm firmly convinced that although the majority of countries selected democracy as a political system, it is under risk. This is because potentially it's losing its essential traits, such as giving people some extent of decision-making conditions, no matter what the business interests. Wow. Oh my goodness me. That is so good. Okay? I mean, wow. Seriously, wow. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You should be really proud of yourself. That is insanely good. Okay? Really, 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 really super top level. That is one of the best essays I think I've ever read. Okay? And I've read a lot of essays. And that is super good. Congratulations. Okay, let's run through it. Task achievement, yes. Coherence, really, really good. I love how you've just mixed it up. You've made it yours. It flows very, very well. You've got lots of clever little grammar in there, which is very subtle. You've used it correctly. Your vocabulary is amazing on a very difficult topic. You've done everything you had to do, okay, and more. Fabulous. And I'm really sorry. Oh, this wretched thing can't even see what it was. Okay. I have asked them to clarify this. But thank you for just answering your own question. Let's look at the language, okay? What I just wanted to check, Luciana, hang on here. Just check this. Can you do this in 40 minutes? Be 390, okay, it feels longer. Can you do it in 40 minutes? How are you doing on timing? Make sure you're okay on that. So here we go, 2 pie charts and a bar chart. Okay, so the pie charts depict cars ownership. I would say car ownership in England and Scotland in the year, just not by the year, in the year. The bar chart highlights the number of cars which were sold by VW in the same countries. Lovely. In general, the 2 nations witnessed similar trends in terms of bought cars. The highest figure for both and the bought cars, no, you need to have which is the highest figure for both. They both diverge on the smallest ones, which are shared and leased cars in Scotland. Put these little prepositions, England and Scotland respectively. Additionally, Scottish scales were more prominent throughout the studied period. Good. Looking at the details. By 1999, 45% of drivers had decided to buy a car, whereas the count for the leased ones was 10% less. Less than. So remember when we're comparing more than, less than, you need to have that little word than, being 35%. The data for shared card was equivalent. Keep the past tense going. In both nations were 25% of all. Yes, or of the total. Hang on, sorry, was. Okay, was in past tense. However, this figure represents the least option in England. Although this figure, represents the least option in England, Scottish people would rather share than lease a car. Since the data for the latter is just... Now, watch out, past tense. You've changed tense, and that's what's suddenly making it feel different, okay? This is all lovely, past tense. Keep it in the past tense, because you're... if you go back, you've got 1999 is your, like, latest date kind of thing. This figure represented the least option in England. Scottish people would rather share than lease a car. That's okay because would is the past, since the data for the latter was just 15%. With regard to VW sales, in 1990, retails, you can't have retails, that doesn't work. Retailers are the people, but retail, you could okay, have retail without the S. Retail surpassed 180,000 in Scotland, falling sharply in the subsequent year and started. So just to start. Oh, okay. All right, just to start rising. Just to start rising. So here, the spelling there is rising again and reaches peak. 94 with approximately, yeah, okay. Cars sold. Afterwards, sales were another reduction, while England, you don't need in there, while England experienced an improvement, being the highest figure for this country with almost 150,000 transactions. Okay, so just watch out on the tenses there. You've done another long answer with so much fancy, complicated vocabulary. Again, really, really high level. Absolutely lovely. Watch out for tenses. But what you have done is really nicely is that you've compared the pie charts, which is what you had to do, and you've used the dynamic language, the language of change, for this one, okay, which is really lovely. And I really like the expressions you've used to pick out the data. You've grouped it, you've compared it, you did exactly what you had to do. Very strong answers, really, really good, fantastic. Well done.